Good evening, everyone, and welcome to SUNY Plattsburgh's online business information session. My name is Rayanne. I'll be your host this evening. I do work in the admissions office at SUNY Plattsburgh, and I'm joined this evening by two notable faculty members on campus, Dr. Gaber and Dr. Ortiz-Waters. If you guys wouldn't mind just taking this time to introduce yourselves and maybe explaining your roles on campus, I think that'd be a great way to start.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dean Ortiz-Waters, and I actually just finished my first year as Dean of the School of Business and Economics. Prior to starting here, I was actually at Quinnipiac University teaching for over 15 years. And I guess an interesting fact about me is that I was actually in chemistry prior to coming to business.
Wonderful. My name is Mohammed Gaber. I'm the chair of the accounting department, and I have been at the School of Business here in Plattsburgh for 31 years. So 30 years more than what you have. I certainly have a passion for teaching, and I teach all accounting courses, and we have a great program school-wide, and we are welcome your questions.
Great, and so you all know we are also joined by two currently enrolled students here. We have Tiara, who is a triple major within our School of Business and Economics. She has majors in economics, finance, and management information systems. We're also joined by Jared, who is a double major within our School of Business and Economics. He's a marketing major as well as global supply chain management. So to give you all kind of an overview of what to expect tonight, I'll begin the presentation by starting with roughly a 5 to 10 minute presentation regarding the business field as a whole. So I'll provide some industry trends, job outlooks, median salaries, things like that. After that, we'll transition on into talking about specific business majors at SUNY Plattsburgh. I'll give a brief overview, and then I'll pass it along to our faculty to give a little rundown of their departments as well. And at that point, we'll welcome questions from the audience. So feel free to type into our chat box there any questions that you have throughout the night. I'll be looking at that, monitoring that, and facilitating those discussions. After that, we're actually going to be welcoming our two students up here. And we'll do the same thing. So we'll welcome a Q&A session with them as well. So again, definitely type in any questions you have into that chat box, and we'll be sure to monitor that throughout the evening. So without further ado, I'm going to get started on my portion of the presentation. If we wouldn't mind just going to the next slide there. I'm going to start with the business overview. I'm sorry, one second. Okay, sorry about that. I'm going to start with the business overview. The last month or two, I'd say I've been doing some research alongside our career counselor, our CDC Career Development Center here, to provide some insight for you all into the business field overall. So what I discovered overall is, number one, the salary within the business field is much higher than the average for other fields. It's actually at over $65,000 per year right now. The average for all other workers is a little over $36,000. So number one, these are high-paying jobs. The other thing I found is that this field is growing. So 632,400 new business jobs are actually projected to be added by the year 2024. The United States Department of Labor, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, is where I got this information. They attributed this in big part to a stronger regulatory environment that's driving the demand for more accountants, more auditors who prepare and examine financial documents. So I think the combination of those two things, number one, there being a demand for this, and number two, the fact that they are such high-paying jobs, are making this a very marketable field for prospective students like yourselves to get involved in. So now, one of the most common questions that we see as admissions professionals are, what can I do with that major? Or what would a degree in business land me? So what I've done here is kind of just compile a list of some opportunities of job titles that you might find yourself in if you were to major in the business field. So it is a very broad field. And in fact, at SUNY Plattsburgh, there are 11 different majors within business. So for example, if you're interested in accounting, you could of course become an accountant or an auditor. If you're interested in marketing, you could become a market research analyst, If you're interested in finance, you could become a financial analyst or a financial advisor. So there is a lot of opportunity within this business field. So I just kind of wanted to provide you with a broad understanding of all it is that you could become if you were to major in a business program here. Now, in the next few slides, what I've done is actually handpick a few of those job titles so we could delve into a little deeper what the specific job duties would be for those, as well as the job outlook and median salary of those. So accountants and auditors, we do have an accounting degree, of course, at SUNY Plattsburgh. They prepare and examine financial records. They ensure they're accurate and that taxes are paid properly and on time. They assess financial operations and ensure organizations run efficiently. The job outlook in this field by 2024 is marketed for an 11% growth, which is definitely higher than the national average. And the median salary last year in this position was just over $67,000 per year. Now, the next job I've chosen to look into a little deeper is a market research analyst. We do have a marketing degree at SUNY Plattsburgh, so that would lend itself nicely to this position. So market research analysts study market conditions to examine potential sales of a product or service. They help companies understand what products people want, who will buy them, and at what price. The job outlook by 2024 is actually slated for a 19% growth in this field, and the median salary last year was just over $62,000 per year. And the last job that I've chose to highlight is a financial advisor. We do have a finance degree at SUNY Plattsburgh as well. So this job, they provide advice on investments, insurance, mortgages, college savings, estate planning, taxes, and retirement to help people manage their finances. And the job outlook by 2024 in this particular job is actually at a 30% growth increase, which is just huge. And the median salary last year was almost $90,000 per year. So it's growing exponentially. Now, at this point, I would like to kind of switch gears and focus a little bit more on the specific programs at SUNY Plattsburgh. So the first thing I wanted to point out is that you might recognize this face from the man sitting next to me here, so we're lucky to have Dr. Gaber with us tonight. The other thing I wanted to point out is kind of that stamp of approval that you see next to the School of Business and Economics. That's AACSB accredited. It stands for the Association to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business. SUNY Plattsburgh is one of about 650 schools in the entire world that has this rigorous accreditation. So it does draw in many students from around here, but it draws a lot of students internationally as well. SUNY Plattsburgh has a really large percentage of international students, and in fact 75% of those students are actually enrolled within our School of Business and Economics. So they are very diverse classrooms, and I think that's very valuable, of course, not only for the international students, but also the domestic students as well, to be sitting in such a globally diverse classroom, which I think mirrors our diverse world as well. So at SUNY Plattsburgh, we do have 11 distinct majors. These are not study options. They're not concentrations. They are their own individual majors. We also have 11 different minors. There are over 1,000 full-time students in this division, as well as 37 full-time faculty. So it is a rather large division of Plattsburgh. Also, there are 5 faculty recipients of the Chancellor's Award for Excellence in Teaching. So we do pride ourselves in the quality of our faculty within this department as well. Now, as I mentioned, we have 11 different majors within the School of Business and Economics. You can see them start to populate on the screen there. You'll see some traditional, long-standing majors of what you'd expect from a business program, for example, business administration, accounting, marketing. There are some interesting, kind of unique majors as well. For example, global supply chain management is the study of how to get products and goods shipped from point A to point B faster and cheaper than anyone else. There's a 100% job placement rate within this specific program. And with Plattsburgh sitting on the Canadian border along I-87 straight from New York City to Montreal, we're sitting on kind of a hot spot for our global supply chain management students to get that hands-on internship opportunity. Entrepreneurship, we're one of the only schools to offer that as an undergraduate degree, which makes us kind of unique. Also, hotel, restaurant, and tourism management. We do have a 5-star student-run restaurant on campus called Samuel D's, which our HRTM students complete hundreds and hundreds of hours of work there prior to graduating Plattsburgh. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to the faculty so they can get into a little more depth with some of their programs, since they are, of course, the masters of the field. So would one of you like to begin?
Thank you so much. You want to?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, because I'm actually the dean, so I don't reside in a department. But first of all, welcome. We're very excited that you're interested in SUNY Plattsburgh and certainly the School of Business and Economics. I just wanted to add that aside from our AACSB accreditation, our Hotel, Restaurant, and Tourism Management program is also ACFA accredited. So that's also actually a seal of approval and high quality. And then we are also uniquely positioned because we have what's called a Small Business Development Center that is connected to the School of Business, and that is a resource both for students to do applied learning and internships, but also it serves a community in terms of individuals who are interested in becoming small business owners. So I just wanted to add that because I'm not in a particular area.
Well, again, you know, I'm the chair of the accounting department, but I know certainly everything about the School of Business and Economics. The accounting major, we have about 205 students right now, and I'm expecting to grow. As you can see, there's so much demand for accounting graduates. We have 7 full-time accounting faculty. Every single course in the accounting curriculum is taught by a full-time faculty. They are always available in their office hours and beyond, so we don't have any teaching assistant teaching any classes. So the relationship between the students and the faculty starts from the first day you arrive to campus until your graduation, and also connection after graduation as an alumni. We have certainly the placement of our accounting majors. I can say it's 100%. And I cannot keep up with the demand from employers from so many of the regions and even beyond. We have certainly a good alumni base, so they come and recruit after they are successful and have the capacity to come back to campus and recruiting our students. You mentioned that we have a new School of Business. The building, it is a fascinating building. It is equipped with the technology that is state-of-the-art. And in addition to that, we have what we call, study rooms for students. In advanced classes, you will have so many group work. And in order to find a place, certainly, it is some kind of hard. So we decided when we built the School of Business to have between 6 and 8 different, places for students, 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, to be in that room, and with their laptop, they can practice their presentation and be successful in the course and beyond.
Thank you. We'll get to start some of the questions here. The first one I see is, what opportunities are there for undergrad research? Within business, I'm not sure if it's so much one-on-one research with faculty, but maybe just hands-on learning experiences built into the coursework or the curriculum. Could you speak to that at all?
For the accounting, we had a couple of things that happened in the last 5 years. We have one of the honor students was accounting, double major accounting and finance. I joined a couple of faculty, and they did some research. In fact, it was nationally recognized and was published in one of the respected journal in the field. I personally sponsor one of the honor student in the international accounting area. We're still working on a publication, so there is an opportunity for some people who would like to join faculty in research. It will be even more in economics and finance because they have a special seminar in finance where you have to do some research, and the research, if you are interested in a specific research, you can get in touch with faculty who's interested in that topic, and you continue to develop a good research, project that may end up in publication.
And I can speak to that a little because I also see the next question is, do you have an honors college? We do have an honors center here. For the first 2 years, you can take some gen ed classes through the honors center. There are seminars. They're limited to 10 seats per class, so very small class sizes, very discussion-based classes. After that, you're able to go on and do an advanced honors research project. So that's actually something that I did when I was a student here. I was a public relations and advertising major, and I worked to do market research actually for the college, for the admissions office, to see which factors prospective students found to be most important to them while they were choosing a college. So if you choose to do an advanced honors research project, that would be 6 credits, so part-time for 2 consecutive semesters. So there is always that option for research as well for those interested in the honors program.
And I would add, if I could, that, you know, sometimes you have to sort of take the initiative. So if you are interested as a student, whoever was that asked that, that's a great question. You certainly learn a lot of really relevant and useful business skills by doing research. But, you know, you can approach faculty. I mean, one of the things that drove me to come here was the investment that the faculty put into their students. It's very genuine. Faculty are around a lot, so if you, just because a faculty member doesn't necessarily ask you, you can always ask them, and I'm sure that you would find someone who would be interested in doing work with you.
Absolutely. So we touched on this, but somebody's asking about TAs in classes. So TAs are used to supplement and to help the teacher, but they would never teach a course at all at Plattsburgh. So they'll do things like take attendance, help grade quizzes, they'll hold study groups. So they're really there just to, as an extra layer of support to you, but classes at Plattsburgh are taught strictly by faculty. So we have another question. Do you have a learning community or other freshman experience? We do offer a 1-credit freshman experience course for all incoming freshmen to kind of give them the lay of the land of Plattsburgh and to help them get acclimated. We also have 2 dorm buildings that are reserved specifically for freshmen. Not only do they have RAs on every floor, but they also have community advocates, so there's an extra layer of support, and there's constantly programs and events being put on for them to foster this community. So there are those extras kind of for freshmen to feel more acclimated on campus.
Could I also add something?
Yeah, definitely.
So we don't technically in the school business have a learning community, but one of the things that I strive to do as the leader of the school is to make sure that we're student-centered. And so I model that for our faculty and for our students. So one of the things that is, in essence, I guess, an informal learning community is that I actually put on TED Talks throughout the semester with the students. It's something where there's little investment on the part of the student or myself. We join together for an hour on an evening, watch a TED Talk, generally business-related skill set, talk about it, and then just give them a chance to get to know me to get to know them, and have an informal time to share. And so I think that, you know, while it may not be formal, I think those kinds of scenarios happen more often than not.
Great. So our next question, oh, I'm sorry, did you want to answer to that too?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
We're not shy.
We have, in fact, we started about 3 years ago to think about the students. Sometimes a student will learn from another student even better than learning from faculty in certain cases. So we thought about, you know, a mentoring program, student to student. And it was successful. We didn't have the first meeting yet for the semester, but mainly we look at junior and senior students, and we ask them to volunteer, and we send an email to all freshmen and sophomore to see if they have the will, you know, to join us. And we have about between 40 and 50 students participate in that. So mainly junior standing student or senior can say that, I wish you don't do this because that was a problem that I didn't know is going to be a problem. So you avoid it. Or there are certain things that you can do in order to advance your grade average or to manage your time or to do well in certain courses. So I think that is a great way of what we call learning community from a student to student. In addition to that, we have also student to alumni. We ask you know, recent alumni to volunteer and give us the information. We make it available to all students from freshman class up to the senior class, and say that if you need to know where did they go after graduation, how did they get the job, if they are, let's say, doing CPA certification, you know, how much time did it take them, And alumni, certainly, they are wonderful. They respond right away.
Thank you. So our next question is, how much homework does the typical student receive?
I'm sure not enough. No, I'm just I don't know. I don't have to answer that one, or maybe the students could answer that.
I can certainly speak about accounting, certainly. There are a couple of courses I love to teach. In the first course in accounting, because I see the students coming, and it's like a new language, we have to learn together. I learn from the students as much as they learn from me, hopefully. We say that for every hour in class, you need between 2 and 2.5 hours of study. Depending on certainly, certain area. But that is the norm. You put quite a bit of good time, and you will see the result. Certainly you can get an A in a course. If you do a job and ask the right questions, and you go to the faculty for additional help, or at least we can direct you to where to get the help.
Can you talk a bit about internship examples that students have done in the past?
Well, certainly.
This actually
where do I start?
Yeah, this leads us to our next slide, actually.
Yeah.
So this is a listing that we have of places that SUNY Plattsburgh business students have completed internships at. Certainly not an extensive list, but it does give you an idea of all of the places that we have relationships with to send our students. Did you have anything to add to this list of things your students have done?
In fact, I know the person,
Oh, yeah.
He's now in Georgia. He's in Atlanta working for Macy's.
Ooh.
And he was a double major in accounting and computer science. And his sister is here, accounting major as well, Sharmi Shah.
Oh.
Yeah. And in fact, we have a wonderful, wonderful center that will help you to get internship at very early in your studies. You have to qualify, certainly. You have to be a first semester junior standing. And we have local internships. We have internship available during summer. I can mention some internship with the accounting majors, in public accounting. They have it in all what we call Big Four, the Arthur Andersen, not Arthur Andersen.
You're dating yourself.
Right. KPMG, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Ernst & Young, and Deloitte. We have a wonderful co-op relationship with IBM. In fact, they are coming on Monday. They stay for 2 days. They recruit for a co-op and full-time. The co-op with IBM is mainly 6 months. You have to actually work as pre-professional with them, and we have several locations. We have Endicott and Binghamton area. We have Raleigh, North Carolina. We have Rochester, Minnesota. We have Somers, New York. So there's a variety of different, certainly, geographical area you can choose from. They pay you certainly very well for the co-op, and you still can take some courses while you are at IBM, either internally at IBM or close, campuses, or you can take some courses if we offer courses online. In the past maybe 1 or 2 years, we have internship with major financial firms, including Bank of America, UBS, Goldman Sachs, and during the summer, really, we have 22 students, accounting majors, have done the internship.
And I can't speak to specific students, but in general, we have an average of about 162 internships per year that are seen out of the School of Business. We also compile information from supervisors that are overseeing the students, and so they fill out a survey and let us know how they're doing on a variety of dimensions. And just to give you a quick snapshot, so this is an external validation of how well our students are doing. Clearly, over 95% of the supervisors are satisfied with the students' professionalism, with their ethical decision-making, and with their skills technologically. So that's a wonderful thing. One of the things we also do at the end of the year, who our director of the Internship and Career Opportunities Offices does, is she creates an internship recognition ceremony at the end of the year where she brings in the students, the intern sponsor, and also the faculty member, and they have a chance to sort of talk about their experience throughout the year and what they learned, what tips that would improve the internship experience. And it's great because you can bring individuals who might be interested from the local community in offering internships to just get a sense of what this looks like and if they're interested in providing their business and opening up their business for an internship site. So.
Great. I think we have time for one more question for you both before we move on. I wanted to ask about career services that we offer. So I know there is the Career Development Center here on campus. That's an entire office with a career counselor, and they're devoted to not only helping you with your resume and your cover letter, they'll do mock interviews with you, but they also are developing relationships with employers to send our students to. They have job fairs on campus quite a bit, that type of thing, but specifically within the business field, I know you mentioned, for example, IBM is coming on Monday. Can you speak to what business in particular does with that?
Sure, I can add. We actually have, as part of our core curriculum, a seminar on professionalism that students all have to take, so that certainly prepares you for career-related skills and jobs. And then one of the things we found with my coming in, we actually surveyed our students, and we wanted to understand how satisfied they are with a host of dimensions of things that we offer in the School of Business. One of the areas that they were satisfied with, but not as satisfied as other dimensions, was their career preparedness. So our Assistant Dean, Tara Studley, as well as our advisory student group got together, and they actually hosted the first annual Leadership Summit. And so what we did is we actually had professionals from the community come in and do a variety of workshops and seminars. Some of them were school matters, money matters, so sort of walking you through financial planning very early on to be thinking about those things. So it's something obviously we take very seriously. We also have an internal office that does look at internships and career opportunities, and her name is Mary Carpenter. She's the director, and she works closely with the CDC, the Career Development Center. So building that relationship is really important to support students in their careers.
Great, thank you. Well, that was all the questions. Did either of you have anything you wanted to add before we switch to our students?
Just one thing I want to add, in fact, the question about the internship and experiential learning in general, is an outstanding question. And I heard from one of our alumni, 1991 grad, he's Chief Operating Officer and Managing Director of one of the largest accounting firm, global accounting firm and consulting firm nationwide and globally. He said that our practice in hiring will start from sophomore and junior year. So they wanted to see you, at the junior level. And if it's a two-way street, you can like them, they like you, you benefit from the experience, and you will get an offer, go back to school, finish up in 1 year, and you will join the workforce for that specific company.
And I just wanted to add, so we currently offer 11 majors at the undergraduate level, and some of the things that we're working on right now is starting to offer a graduate degree. So that's still in the works right now, and also starting to get into the online space for providing majors as well, to provide access to students. And the last thing I'll say before we head out is to check us out on Facebook at bergeymeansbusiness.com. Thank you all.
Great. Thank you guys so much for being here. It was so helpful. So at this time, we're actually going to switch out our two faculty members and welcome our two students here. Thank you both. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. All right, let's try to get situated. How are we looking on camera? We good? All right. So this is Tiara and this is Jared. So let's take a minute to introduce yourselves. Maybe if you could tell everybody where you're from, go over again what your majors are, because there's a lot of them, so they probably already forgot. And I think that's it. I think that'll start us off.
My name is Tiara Chess. I'm from Queens, New York, and I have a triple major in Management Information Systems, Finance, and Economics with a minor in Accounting.
Hi, I'm Jared. I'm from Long Island. I'm a Supply Chain Management major with a dual major in Marketing and a minor in Accounting.
Great. So let's start with, while this internship slide is up, have either of you participated in an internship yet, or what are your plans as far as that?
Yeah, I had my first internship this summer. It was a really great experience. It was at a small marketing agency in Long Island in Melville. Basically what they did is they ran digital campaigns for Costco and AT&T and direct marketing campaigns. So basically what I did, I worked on the mailing campaigns with 2 other interns. And it was just a really good experience because you got to see how businesses were run. You know, you learn new skills, and it was a great experience overall.
I'm a junior now, so I have 2 internships. My freshman year, I worked at J.P. Morgan and Chase, and just last summer, I worked at Ernst & Young, and I got it through the club that we offer in SUNY Plattsburgh called NABA, the National Association of Black Accounting. Describe the internship.
So kind of going off the clubs, I'm going to move to our next slide here. So this is a list of all of the clubs pertaining to business that we offer at SUNY Plattsburgh. You'll see them as they begin to populate on the screen here. So if you two wouldn't mind maybe just talking about any experience you've had with any of these clubs.
Okay, so right now this year I am actually the president of the Economics Club. And with the Economics Club, we usually prepare people with public speaking, and if you're an economic major, what you can do after you graduate with jobs, and we can also link you with mentors, help you with resumes, and we talk about what's going on in society right now, like the candidates for presidency or the economics. And this year we're trying to change it more to home economics, because we started to realize that when people come into college, they don't know how to apply for a credit card, what it involves with a loan, how to lease a house. So that's what we talk about in the Economics Club. And again, part of the National Association of Black Accounting is more go by their motto, listening as we climb. So basically, we like to help others in success, and every year there's always 2 conferences, and during those conferences you get to network with people from the East Coast of the United States and get interviews, mentors, and hopefully have a job and an internship.
So I'm in the Global Supply Chain Management Club. Basically what they do is they plan to organize field trips to different companies that are around SUNY Plattsburgh and to the U.S.-Canadian border. So you get to see it, like what it's like from goods coming in from the United States to Canada is like and what the processes are. And in addition to that, the local companies, you get to see like what it's like, how they package their goods, ship them out, like the freight in and freight out. So it's really good experience just to see what it's like, how businesses are run.
Great, thank you. So one of the questions here is about class sizes. So what would you say your average class size has been? Do you feel like you've gotten to know your professors, and if you have, like, how do you think that's benefited you professionally?
The largest classroom I've been in was, I believe, 27, and the smallest I've been in was 9, which was my favorite one, the 9.
Yeah, for me, I think the largest classroom I've ever been in was like, I think it was my public, no, it wasn't my public speaking. It was like a gen ed class. And it was like 40 kids, but they're usually around like 20 to 25. And I know we have a student-faculty ratio of 16 to 1. And the cool thing at SUNY Plattsburgh is, like Dr. Gaber said, there's about 7 full-time accounting teachers. So with a lot of the courses, you can see the classes that are being taught by that professor that you enjoyed. So you retake the same classes, and you can build a really great relationship.
Great. So one student just asked, can you tell me about your academic advisor?
Okay. So again, the faculty members is actually what makes me feel so much comfortable on campus, and I felt bad having one. So like I always talk to a whole bunch of advisors, like such as Dr. Gaber. Even though my major is not accounting, I'm always in his office every day. And with the faculty advisors, it's like SUNY Plattsburgh is their second home. So they will be here till like probably 9 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night, always available to help you, and more like your mentor and friend at the same time. So like they will help you, but like preparing yourself for the outside world, or like if you have an interview, some faculty members I know actually take the time and have like one-on-one interviews to prepare you, which is called mock interviews.
I've had a good relationship with my academic advisors. I actually changed my major from business administration to supply chain management, so I had to switch advisors, but they help you basically like plan out your course schedule, what classes it takes, even like possible internships, like figure out possible companies you can apply for. And they're always available, so whenever you need something, like if you need an extension on a project, or if you're sick, or you just need some advice, or you're not understanding something in class, they're great people to go talk to.
Oh, one more thing I'd like to add, the faculty member, again, is like a small size, so you will be seeing, you will be taught by some of those faculty members more than once, so that's how another way to develop a good relationship. Don't get on their bad side. You're always going to see them again.
Kind of going off this, do either one of you have a favorite professor and why?
Oh, I absolutely do. Jason Lee in the accounting department, just because he's the most outgoing, funny guy I've ever met. And like, common stigma, I guess, like, oh, accounting classes, like, they're boring, you're just punching in numbers in Excel. And he makes it really fun. He's really great, and he's just awesome.
I'm scared to choose one. Hopefully they're not watching. But I think my main advisor, Christian Balin, I feel I have more of a connection with him. He is hilarious and have amazing stories he experienced in the outside world. So, like, my interest in cybersecurity, so he has, like, experience in it, so he would tell you stories and how you can apply it to today's world. And he's very blunt and will tell you things straight up. So I think that's the best part.
He's very blunt. I might actually have to change mine to him. I just graduated my sophomore year, first semester, and he was an interesting guy.
Do you have a favorite class that sticks out in your mind, and why?
My favorite class is with Professor Balin. It's called, oh, the class is so long. It's a cybersecurity class, and I took it over the summer, and it was so cool because what we did was basically, as cybersecurity, the only way you can learn about it is if you get hands-on experience. So one of our projects was he actually sent us a report of a guy's credit card being stolen, and basically we had to track down who it was just based on our computer, like follow an IP address. And then we learned about not too much about hacking in the way, but like how to secure your computer. And I felt more, because it was a hands-on, it was less reading, taking notes, and answering, you know, the multiple choice questions and short answers. It was more of doing it yourself. So I felt like I was in a live, real-world action.
For me, my favorite class was my new product development class in marketing. Basically, our final project was to actually create a new product, and you had to present it to the whole class, making like a price matrix sheet and a whole business plan. So my group basically made like a neck pillow with like an eye cover, and it was really cool. And I actually just took a trip to Israel, and I saw people with a similar product. So that was really interesting.
Nice. All right, so our next question I think is mostly for you. It's, are global supply chain management majors encouraged to study abroad, or have you studied abroad?
Yeah, so I haven't studied abroad yet. I'm actually thinking about going next semester. Going to study abroad is definitely a great experience, but it's not like required. But last summer I did study, I took a trip to Israel for 2 weeks on Birthright. So it was definitely like an eye-opening experience. So definitely travel as much as you can. And through the SUNY Plattsburgh system, I think there's like 500 different places you can go, and they have different scholarships to help aid you in your travels. So it's really great.
And to add on to that, like, one of the problems, like, that scares is, as a business major, different countries have different rules and regulations, especially when it comes to accounting. So I was wondering, like, can you travel with a certain major? And actually you can, because, like, I have studied abroad, and I've been to another accredited school, and I just found out recently that SUNY Plattsburgh is partnership with a business school in France, I believe ERC, and it's Rennes. It's called Rennes, and it's the #1 business school in Europe, so that's interesting. Hopefully can apply and get into that.
Yeah, we definitely encourage all students to study abroad. As part of the SUNY system, we have locations at over 500 places across the world where you can study at. So it's encouraged across all majors, but I would say especially within business, we do have an international business major. We have a global supply chain management major. Like I said, 75% of our international students are in the School of Business and Economics. So it's definitely a globally diverse academic division to be involved in, so we would especially encourage those students to get some study abroad experience as well. So another question I see here is about if freshmen can live off campus. So I'm going to ask you guys about your freshman living experiences in a second, but to answer that question, you have to live on campus for the first 2 years unless you're commuting from home and you're local. After that, housing is guaranteed for all 4 years, but it's up to you if you would like to continue living on campus or moving off. Like I mentioned earlier, we do have 2 completely freshman dorm buildings, so did you guys live in one of those when you were freshmen?
Yeah, I lived in Wilson Hall my freshman.
And how was that experience for you?
It was honestly really great because you got to meet other freshmen, so you got to make a lot of friends with people on your floor and just in your building, and then you'll meet people who they're friends with in class, so you'll build like a big network of people in your grade.
I lived in one of the low-rise dorms. It wasn't a freshman dorm, but it was mixed with different levels, and I actually chose that on purpose because I wanted to like meet people that already had the experience and can actually guide me and show me around. So my freshman year, I lived in a dorm called Kent Hall, and basically I was hanging out with sophomores and juniors, and I met some of them, and like they was able to guide me to my classes and eat with me so I can feel comfortable. So I was lucky to have nice people with me.
All right, another question we have is what activities are offered to students? So what do you guys do for fun, both on and off campus, whether it's affiliated with a school or not? I think the question at large is, like, what is there to do here in Plattsburgh?
So much.
Yeah, there's really too much. Well, we do have, like, a lot of intramural sports. So, for example, I'm part of the Chi Phi fraternity, and we have, like, our own intramural team. So basically you can sign up through an app called Wreck-It with, like, your friends or just people in your dorm. And you can go play, like, I think sand volleyball, basketball, soccer, and indoor soccer, so that's a great way to get outdoors. Other things, too, you can go, like, outside Memorial Field, and people are always outside playing soccer, throwing a Frisbee.
I know that, like, part of the Myers, which is, like, the Music and Arts building, that they have tickets, like, for $20 to go drive down to New York City and see Broadway shows is one of them. And we have, like, trips where it's $10 to go to Montreal, Canada to a museum, or $5 to go to Burlington, Vermont to go shopping. But I know what I'm interested in usually doing is mostly the clubs. So, like, a lot of clubs host, like, huge events. So I believe 2 semesters ago, there was a club called Kinks for girls with natural hair, and they partnered up with a bio club, and they created, like, a haunted house, literally like a haunted house where it was, like, steam, and you do face makeup with scary people, and, like, they come out and scare you. Or we have, like, big dancing events or step teams that come and perform. So I know those are fun things to do.
Yeah. Besides any business clubs, is there anything else that you're involved in on campus, either one of you?
I'm in a fraternity,
right.
The Chi Phi fraternity. There's also a lot of stuff to do outside of campus. So, like, downtown, there's tons of restaurants and, like, cool places to go and hang out. And also, like, the close, proximity to Montreal and Burlington, Vermont really separates us from other SUNY campuses.
I'm not, like, an active member in the club, but when they host big events, like, such as Kinks, and then, like, there's a club called African Unity, and, like, they hold these big fashion shows where they bring people up to, and, like, the students actually make the clothes, and they walk down the aisle, and you hear them screaming, and then, like, there's a big party at the end, so I just go to the big events.
All right, well, that's actually all of the questions that we have. Did either one of you have anything else to add at all, or?
Take advantage of the opportunity that's given to you, and, like, don't sit and wait for them to come to you. You actually have to be active and look for it on your own. So if you're interested in something, like, don't be afraid to ask anybody. And especially the faculty members, like, if you feel like they might look scary at first, but if you come to their office hours and just, like, simply ask a question or introduce yourself so they have a knowledge of who you are. If they have a job opportunity, the first person they probably think about is you and come to you and ask you, like, hey, do you want a job opportunity? So be friends with your advisors.
Yeah, just going off that, just be really proactive. I know there's a lot of questions about internships, and one other thing is, like, if you have an interest in a certain company or a certain field, look up, like, the top 10 companies, for example, like the Big Four, like IBM, like PwC, for example. If you go on their website, you'll see, like, careers for students. So that's where you'll find co-ops and other internships that you can get. And you can do that with any company.
All right, we actually, in the meantime, I'm sorry, I misspoke. We have one more question that just came in. Is there a 5-year program in which someone can acquire their master's at Plattsburgh? Not yet. As you heard our dean mention, they are in the works of developing a business master's program, but nothing is released yet. But just so you know, it is being worked on right now. So that actually ends our question portion. I just have a couple additional slides. This one I mentioned earlier, I got a lot of my research and statistics from the United States Department of Labor, which is known as being kind of the most resourceful, most reliable, specifically the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's BLS.gov. So if anything I said sounded interesting to you and you wanted to check out more jobs on there and their earning potentials and their job growth, definitely log on to do so. We will be emailing everybody this presentation tomorrow, so you'll be getting this reference slide then too. And the last thing I wanted to end on is just to encourage you to visit campus. If anything that we said tonight sounded interesting or enticing to you, definitely come and check us out. We have a brand new $13 million business building here at SUNY Plattsburgh, so you'll be able to go in, actually see those classrooms and see the state-of-the-art facilities that you could be working in. You could get tours by two of these lovely people here. You could meet with our faculty. Dr. Gaber will be there. So I think that if you're at all interested, I think the best bet for you is just going to be to actually come and visit and check it out for yourself to see if it's a good fit. So your best opportunities to do that, I would recommend, are open houses. They're the most kind of bang for your buck. There's the most going on at those. We got one more question. Sorry. Why did you switch your major from business admin to the other major you mentioned, global supply chain management?
Oh, well, I just want to add more variety. So I took a couple of marketing courses, and I always had an interest in like importing and exporting, which is a big aspect. Like, it's one of the concentrations in supply chain management. So that was my like, that's pretty much the reason why I switched, to add more variety.
Yeah, I would say a lot of people within the business field start as business administration. It's the most general, it's most broad, it incorporates kind of aspects to all of the other majors. And then when they start noticing what they're interested most in, they may switch out of that major into a more specific major. So I think you'll see that a lot here.
Another thing is, not a lot of people graduate with one major in the business department.
Yeah.
As you can see, like, I started with math, and then I was just like, wait, no, I want economics. And then, like, one of my advisors was telling me about finance, and then I took that cybersecurity course, and I was just like, I can't choose. And everybody I meet always have either a double major, triple major, or unfortunately I've seen quadruple majors.
It's true. A lot of the coursework is the same for the first 2 years among all of the 11 business majors, so it's almost unheard of to have a business major just have one major. They're choosing a lot of different facets. So.
Yeah, and usually going off of that, sometimes it's only like an extra 2 classes to get an extra major, so it's kind of worth it in the end to take that extra class for a year and to have the double major. It makes you really diverse when you go into the work field.
Definitely. All right, so I think that's all of the questions. So come visit us. I'm going to close out of the presentation. When I do, you'll automatically be brought to a link to register for open house if that's something that you'd like. So thank you, everybody, and I hope you have a great night. Bye.
Bye.